Welcome back, Spectrum TV, right here in Ibiakuru, and some 27.5 small minutes since it clocked 7 this Monday morning. As we said before, this is a special Monday morning because it's set aside, the day set aside for the Nigerian child, and we'd like to celebrate all our children again and again. One of the fathers is in the house, and any moment now, I'll just leave you to see him. But Governor Umoino of Akwa Ibom is celebrating his first anniversary in office. And what we've been doing, I think since a week or two back in time, is take a periodic, a daily sectoral look at how far he's taken the states since he took over 12 months ago. So we'll be asking what manner of 12 months have this been, and we're joined by somebody who ought to know. But before I introduce the person who is right here, you already know him because he's a friend of the house, a media guy himself, and he's just somebody you would love. But let me bring on my senior colleague, that is Francis Edet. Francis Edet is the anchor. He does that with Uyai on this program, and Uyai is on break. Uyai returns next week. You'll be seeing three of them from next Monday. The third person you'll be seeing is Ime Emmanuel, also on set. And gentlemen, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
To our guests. This one is a sports caster like none other. But I don't know when last he did sports casting. Looks like government took him away and threw him the part of protocol. And he's become a protocol enigma, whether you like it or yes. He's on public service. He's doing the public affairs like no one else. I think through the Akpabio years, he was there for protocol. Through the Udom years, he was there for public affairs. And when Governor Umoino took office, he showed again how dynamic the special gifts, the special son of Akwa Ibom can get. He's now the senior special assistant to Governor Umoino of Akwa Ibom State on brand management and marketing. You know him. Raphael Edem, KSM, joins us live. So nice to see you.
Yeah, good to be here, and thank you very much for the very elaborate introduction.
Absolutely, you deserve it. I'm very proud of you. You know,
just to add that
yes,
my first government appointment was in June of 2015. So I started working for government in the last administration.
Oh, we didn't do anything for Akpabio?
Not official. I wasn't appointed. My first ever government appointment was in June 2015.
Oh. So that's news to me.
He was serving the government from the
So
back.
what were you doing? Because you were very visible.
Oh, well, I was freelancing. I was happy to assist whenever I was called upon to. Well, my first salary was paid 3 months after June 2015. So.
No, that's really, and it's good you say that to me, believe me. And many people don't know, because I mean, you were all over with our big brother, Nepena Tompana.
Yeah, like I said, I was working for Mr. Mpana, more like personally, not an official.
That's really news. That's really news. But let me go out to say, it's not every day I have this opportunity. There are a few of you in Akwa Ibom. I would say, after when you've done 31 years and everyone calls you the boss, and truly the boss, there are some things you can say because you know everybody. You know, you continue to remain very special to me, very different, very. I don't know whether there are even words to describe you, Mr. Raphael Edem KSM. I don't know, because I like your panache. I like that one is too big English. I like your yes, that one English is too big. Yes, but I like the fact that I can trust you on anything. A phone call to you can resolve. Welcome to the program. Thank you for being honorable. Thank you for being humble. Thank you for being yourself, gentlemen. This come here to discuss Governor Umoino's 12 months in the eyes of the critical public, or the critical public, all the publics, whether in terms of critics, whether in terms of friends, whether in terms of Akwa Ibom people, whether in terms of foreigners. How does that stand? How do you think Akwa Ibom people, for instance, 12 months on, feel about the man, Pastor Umoino?
Okay, I think the verdict is out. There are a number of people who, we're very politically conscious people, so we're not shy to offer opinion about government, right from the very first day, as a matter of fact. The expectations People think maybe government should even start beginning to point out what they have done. 24 hours after you've sworn in, what have you done? It's a full 24 hours. So I think the word on the street would tell you that a good number of people, most of the people in Akwa Ibom State, are happy with His Excellency Pastor Moina. They're also happy with his period of service over the past 12 months. And we've seen the reason, of course, a number of things which he has done. He's brought his personality to bear in the office. And he's a very affable gentleman. He's a gentleman who loves to get down to the nitty-gritty of activity. And then, of course, the way he started his administration, getting people to see his blueprints, getting people to not just see, but interrogate and make contributions into that particular document. And then trying as much as possible to see how we can demystify, well, it's a much used word, government as it were, and simplify the things that over time were seen as a little bit too complex for the regular person. Now, government is his administration. A good number of people have seen through it. A good number of people appreciate the things that he's doing. He's touching lives. He's somebody that people see as a very affable, a very approachable, and a very responsible and responsive gentleman. You see how he mixes well with the high and the mighty. And of course, I'm coming down to also, interact with the common folk and see as much as possible how much can he make them feel the impact of government. We've seen that in the different areas. The launch of the Arise Agenda, a much heralded document, a document that made a number of people across different spectra were able to make contributions to, and which is being implemented now. So the Back to Farm project, the initiatives in agriculture, the commissioning of projects to mark the first issues, that there has been quite some concentration on infrastructure, maintaining the ones that he came to meet, expanding on them, providing new ones also. Also continuing the culture of not abandoning projects. Of course, he has spoken about this publicly several times, that whatever projects he met by his predecessors, he will do his best to ensure that they are completed, because these are projects that are meant for the good of the people of Akwa Ibom State. And then, of course, paying attention also to security. One of our selling points as a state is that this is one of the safest, one of the most livable places in this country. And then His Excellency the Governor has practically exemplified that he is committed to that particular, to the sustenance of the security situation in the state, improving on it where necessary. And that we have seen in the activities that he has also brought to bear there, the provision of the gunboats for the Nigerian Navy, the collaboration, the launch of Ibom Community Watch, the provision of operational vehicles also for the mainstream security agencies, and also ensuring that there is some good harmony, some kind of intelligence collaboration between the security organizations so that they can work for the good of Akwa Ibom State. And one way or the other, we, I think, have been the better for it. And then, of course, in the area of health, we've seen also concentration on primary health care. And His Excellency has spoken about the fact that he is very rural people minded. And this is, in my opinion, a desirable thing, because a lot of the things that I remember my geography class, I was taught about rural-urban migration. People leave the rural areas for the urban areas because they're hoping to see better life there. But then if you give them some sort of a new lease of life, if you take care of some of the basic necessities in the rural areas, you'll have them stay there, and the bulk of the productive sector, especially in the agrarian side, comes from the rural area. And then there will be less pressure also on the infrastructure and facilities in the urban area. So it's a win-win situation also. So we've seen that in the health sector. And those are not just primary health care centers. The level of equipment, we saw the one that was launched at the Besikwa Sultan the other day. We're sure that it can actually take care of a good number of the issues that people who live around there will have to deal with. And this is being replicated in very many areas across the state also. In education also, we've seen what is being done. Beyond the provision of infrastructure, which is very, very interesting. I think the CKS primary school is easily the most beautiful primary school in this country at the moment. And like I said, that is something that His Excellency has a vision of replicating, and work is actually going on to ensure that it is replicated in different parts of the state. And then, of course, also there's the incentive to teachers. The other day somebody said something at the launch of the CKH primary school. His Excellency said he was even going to pay dressing allowance to teachers, and he did not know how far things like that go in motivating the people who are actually the most important component as far as the transmission of information and education to the children are. Because yes, the infrastructure is good, but more important is who is the person who is passing on the information. And this is supposed to also help boost their confidence, give them more or less a renewed vista for them to pursue the work that they do. Of course, the issue of workers' welfare, given priority in billions of naira, I think 17 billion on the last count, in 1 year, committed to the payment of backlog of arrears and backlog of arrears of gratuities where he met them. Of course, I'm continuing, of course, from whatever it is that he might have met, knowing very well that government is a continuum. So all of these are things that I'm sure the people of Akwa Ibom said are happy with His Excellency. What on the street you would see, you would hear, you would feel, you would see people say, "Oh, this is good." I like the way he goes about this. And then more importantly, deliberately ensuring that we lower the political temperature of the state, thereby creating a conducive environment for collaboration between the state and federal government agencies, between ourselves and, of course, our brothers and sisters who are holding positions at the different levels of the federal government, knowing that in the long run, the challenges that we face as a people do not necessarily know political party, creed, or lineage. Challenges are, if the road is bad, it's bad for everyone. It's not bad for people. If the school needs to be fixed, it needs to be fixed for everyone. So this also has more or less lowered the political temperature of the state, created a very conducive environment. The Thanksgiving service of yesterday at the international conference at the International Worship Center, it's been a long time you saw that mix of Akwa Ibomites across party lines. A good number of them have not sat together at the same table, so to speak, over a long period of time. And usually you see when that happens among leaders, the people who actually engage in fisticuffs sometimes are the followers.
Absolutely.
You understand? So when there's also that conviviality between our leaders, also it trickles down and it ensures that all of us can, even if we do not work together, we can actually look together in the same direction. There's a quote I heard a number of years ago, which I like to say, we don't need to see eye to eye in order to work hand in hand. So we're hoping that this is definitely going to be something that will reap dividends, and the people of Akwa Ibom State will definitely be better for it. So His Excellency's approach to government, to go back to your initial question, a good number of the people of Akwa Ibom appreciate it. There are a number of people outside Akwa Ibom who also appreciate it. Even at the level of political relationship, we don't need to look too far to see examples that we do not want to follow. But then Akwa Ibom is a reference point, and His Excellency has deliberately ensured that that is the situation of things. And a whole lot more. I believe that if this is just 1 year, several years down the line, this first 4 years, hopefully by the grace of God and the support of the people of Akwa Ibom, so he gets the full 8 years, that we'll be able to look back at the period that he served and we say that he didn't just do his best, but we appreciated what he did.
Francis, amen. The guy, Raphael Edem is good. Very good.
Yeah.
Take it from me.
Well, I knew he was going to talk long, so I had to just wait and allow him.
Not just talk long.
Was that long?
Yes.
No, not even long. It's you can talk long and you don't say anything.
Yeah.
It's just to talk long and then bring us some quality. I didn't feel like stopping him because there's nothing he said. He didn't repeat himself and everything. And if you let him, he can even talk and we now say, okay, mass is ended. Let's go in peace.
I think he covered all the sectors. I mean,
Absolutely.
from health to
Yes.
education to
Yes.
agriculture.
Yes.
So you've covered everything.
To politics.
To politics and to everything. I think I would like to come from politics, and it is something you mentioned it, slightly, but I want to focus on it. What is the level of? It is 1 year, and so far so good. We've seen good things. We've seen good things. Now, what is this level of, collaboration with the party outside PDP, other parties that are not PDP? Is there collaboration? Is there
I did plans for
yes,
major.
not major. Does it take words? Does it take advice or from?
For a gentleman, I understand your question completely,
Yeah.
my brother. For a gentleman who opens his doors and opens his mouth and says, politics is over, the elections are over, we're now in the period of governance, and all of us need to put our hands on deck, all hands need to be on deck to ensure that we work for the people of Akwa Ibom, and exemplifies it. a gentleman who makes it a point of duty for every Akwa Ibom person who gets recognized, who gets a federal appointment, irrespective of political party, personally reaches out. A gentleman who ensures that even at the level of the National Assembly, that there is harmony between Akwa Ibom people in the National Assembly, irrespective of political party. A gentleman who, when state events are held, extends invitations to people across different political spectrums so that they can come and be part of the event and we can sit together like it was exemplified yesterday and several other events. A gentleman who has made it very possible for people who hitherto over the past few years would not sit together to even share a bottle of water, to sit nowadays, and then there's a lot of backslapping, there's a lot of camaraderie between people who people thought were political enemies.
Yes.
You know, I think that speaks to the fact that he is somebody who is who listens, somebody who is willing to and ready to take inputs and contributions, and who has been taking also. And there's no way I would invite you to come for lunch with me and then to just come and listen to me. If I invite you to come for lunch with me, it means I'm also prepared to listen.
Absolutely.
To you. You know, there has to be two-way conversation. So that is his disposition. And like I said, it has trickled down on several other, because of course the old saying that when two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. You know, at this point also, when the elephants are happy with each other, I think the grass also will have any reason to suffer. You know, so yes. He's deliberate about it. He reaches out. He takes advice. He takes suggestions. He takes inputs, and the advice will not be political. Like I said, he's development oriented. He is service oriented. And as far as that input is for the development, for the betterment of Akwa Ibom State, His Excellency the Governor, through his disposition, has shown that he's very open to it. In fact, he's even open to criticism as long as it is objective. Because the truth is, it's a human system, and there cannot be perfection as far as human system is concerned. And no matter what anyone knows, no one knows everything. And His Excellency has spoken about it several times, that he's ready to welcome inputs, welcome suggestions, welcome even different opinions. Sometimes you need to actually get a dissenting opinion for you to appreciate your own opinion better.
Yeah.
It helps you see things from a different perspective. But then you're able to now judge and determine what course of action to take. So that's his disposition, and this is something that he has exemplified. It's something that he has brought to the fore, something that he's practicing, and a good number of us are also learning from him.
Well, let's come down still to His Excellency. It's been 1 year, and like one of the callers said last week, even people who did not vote for Pastor Umoino, who didn't believe in him, are beginning to have a different perspective about his personality. But I'm going to come from a different angle. Yes, His Excellency has consistently said he doesn't want that politics of abusing the elders, that politics of insulting people, that politics of trying to, pitch this one against this one. And I'm coming from this angle because you're also within the ranks and file of the government. You're aide to the governor. How are your colleagues, the foot soldiers, the appointees of government, taking this message and implementing it? Because it comes down to their actions and activities.
Okay, yes. First off, I would not hold brief for anyone, but I would be able to speak for myself. And I know that a large number of our colleagues, His Excellency the Governor, is not somebody who just picks people indiscriminately to work with him, even at the level of government. So as much as possible, what he says outside, he says even much more inside to those who work with him. And then every organization is more or less a lengthened shadow of the leader of that organization. Even if he did not say it, it would be responsible for anyone working with him to see his disposition towards people and then hold a contrary opinion or act contrary to, the kind of person that you work with. To use a Biblical proverb, they say, if you're working with somebody who has that particular disposition, is somebody who doesn't tolerate people going around insulting people because he doesn't do it himself. So that's basically the idea. The message has sunk in, and as much as possible, I'm very sure that those who work with him understand the need for restraints, the need for respect in the way even they carry out their duties. And this, of course, is definitely one of the things that His Excellency the Governor is very passionate about. Like I said, a good number of us are learning from him. There are people who are beginning to look at politics, leadership, and governance differently because of what he has also been able to bring to it. And it would be very unfortunate if anybody were to more or less be steeped in their old ways, even when you now say that there's somebody who has shown you that these results can still be achieved working in a way that there is mutual respect amongst people. So yes, that is something that I know that a good number of our colleagues actually do take to heart.
Very well. Let's just say for the international audience, he said something about Ekpe Umana for Biorebo. It's Akwa Ibom actually for the fact that if you are a descendant of lion, if you come from lions, you cannot have the DNA of a goat. That's the way. That's the way I want to put it. Okay, so our studio guests, fantastic gentleman, is Mr. Raphael Edemke, sportscaster, product crew, Enigma, and now brand manager and marketer in chief. Okay, so how easy has it been so far for you to sell this governor to the different publics?
Easy, if you were to ask me. First off, he's the first salesman. And then, of course, with a product like that, the market women, they have a slogan, especially during the campaigns. They say, it's a good product. And like very well, a good product needs not so much advertisement. And then, of course, needs not so much management also. And then, like I said, as governor, he's also the chief salesman of the state because his vision, his thoughts, his action, his inactions even the things that he doesn't say, more or less convey an impression about the kind of person that he is, and by extension, the kind of state that he is leading. And so if there is positive acclaim of what he is doing, and positive acclaim of his personality also, it makes the job of managing him and selling the Akwa Ibom brand relatively easy also. The challenge now, therefore, is that, like I tell everyone who cares to listen, the task of building a brand goes beyond the government, goes beyond people in government. Yes, they are an integral part of it, but Akwa Ibom cannot be defined by just one person. Akwa Ibom cannot be defined by just a few people. It will be defined by what is the preponderance of opinion, what is the preponderance of news, of feeling, of information that comes out of the state. When people hear Akwa Ibom, what comes into their head, what are the things that we do to push the positive narrative about Akwa Ibom State. I tell everyone that there's no society, there's no organization anywhere on the face of the earth that doesn't have cupboards that doesn't want anyone to, doesn't have chapters of the book that they don't want anyone to read.
Absolutely.
But then that is not what the selling point is. The countries that a good number of the people of our generation are running to have chapters that they're not proud of. I'm not even talking about the past, even current chapters.
Yes. Absolutely.
But then that is not the dominant narrative. That is not what is making people go there. People are going there because they think that these are places where they can...
Grass is greener.
Grass is greener there, Of course, sometimes they also forget that to make that grass green, there's a lot of watering that goes in there. And sometimes they have to go and learn the hard way. So it is then our responsibility, because government will do its own. And then we will make our inputs, criticize, make suggestions, and then, of course, hold contrary opinions. Good enough, in the past 1 year, I think the criticism has toned down. There's not so much to criticize. Like I said, it's not a perfect organization, not a perfect society, it's not a perfect system because they're human beings. There are people who could hold contrary opinions here and there. And as long as that opinion is constructive and respectful also, it is going to be appreciated and taken very well. And then, of course, assessed and say, okay, what benefit, what information can we get from this? But beyond that, what are we as citizens doing? That is the message I go about everywhere. Because, of course, as media people, you understand that bad news will travel much faster. They say that a lie could go halfway around the world when the truth is still looking for a source to wear. And for 100 positive things that come out of Akwa Ibom, sometimes all you need to negate all of that is just one negative. And it could come from anywhere, from anybody, from practically anywhere. Which is why it is now our responsibility, all of us who live, work, and call Akwa Ibom home, to build the Akwa Ibom brand. The things that we do, the things that we say. Especially those of us who have some influence or who have access to the media. Because now people see the world through, if you got an offer now to go to Paraguay tomorrow, the first thing you're going to do is go online and check what's happening in Paraguay.
Yeah.
And what you see there, if the first 10 things you read about that particular country, and this is hypothetically speaking, is negative, I'm not too sure you'll be very keen on going to that country, irrespective of whatever you may have thought about it, especially if that negative is recent. So, what we put out on the media, especially those of us who have some followership, matters a whole lot about the perception that we create for Akwa Ibom. We have instances in history where the state has lost opportunities because of some of the actions of our people. And sometimes it is from a position of ignorance. But the damage has already been done. So yes, it is easy to market their Akwa Ibom brand. It is easy to market their rice agenda with excellence to the governor. It is now us, our people. I tell people, interrogate their rice agenda. See what areas of this rice agenda of this administration can you fit in. First, for your own benefit. Secondly, something that you can also contribute. Because, of course, everyone knows that John F. Kennedy said, ask not what Akwa Ibom can do for you, ask what you can do for Akwa Ibom also. You know, sometimes it is those I may want to call loosely outsiders, especially those who don't live here, who see a benefit in your state that you who live here has not seen yet. And then that person comes and explores that benefit and you begin to say, oh, somebody came from outside. You were here all the while. That benefit could have been staring you in the face. There's some people that even if you were to hit them over the head with the benefit, they will still not feel it. So it is up to us now to see how do we collaborate with government so that we can continually build their Akwa Ibom brand. How do we key into what government is doing for our own benefit also? That is the message I send out every time I have an opportunity on social media, on the media platform. And I hope that as an organization also, Spectrum Television, the TAF Media Group, the people who work here, will help us put out this message so that what people hear, what people see, what people feel about Akwa Ibom State is positive from the position of government, from the position of our people, from the things that we even say about our state. If we were to carry out a survey, the people who demarcate our state the most are our own people. And you find better appreciation for the things that go in Akwa Ibom outside Akwa Ibom more. It should not be so. We should actually be the people primarily who are pushing the positive narrative about Akwa Ibom State.
Now, I would like, because as a brand marketer for a Rise Agenda, what has been
a brand manager?
What has been the reception you've gotten from, trying to sell? What has been the reception you get from probably international investors? What reception have you gotten currently and previously?
Okay, first, there's a Ministry of Trade and Investment, there's a Ministry of Culture and Tourism, and the office I work in, the Department of Brand Management and Marketing, of course, works in collaboration with other government agencies. And so there's quite a whole lot that government is doing in the area of trying to attract foreign direct investment in the Akwa Ibom State. I've talked about the unique selling points of this state. We know the natural resources that we have. We know the unique advantage we have of access. One of the best things that happened to Akwa Ibom State is the Victor Ota International Airport, and more specifically Ibom Air, with 7 flights in and out of the state practically every day, meaning that anybody can come into Akwa Ibom State to do business, to live, to work, and to invest. We've talked about all of that, and these are selling points for the state. However, there's of course quite a lot of attempts being made to bring in people. There are people who are also coming in, talking to the state government. I'm sure you know that there's a group that has indicated interest in some of the developments of our shoreline. We have the longest shoreline in the country, and that's lots of wealth there. The blue economy part of what His Excellency has been talking about, how we can maximize our maritime resources and see how we can get a lot of benefit from it. So there are people that are actually are indicating interest. But it's just 1 year of the current administration. And then, of course, there's also another factor. There are sometimes external factors to some of these issues that are outside the control of any state. And the past few years have not been the most attractive for Nigeria from a business point of view. We've seen all of the things that have happened with the exchange rate. We've seen the inconsistency in monetary and fiscal policies, the economic turmoil left, right, and center, which is not necessarily within the control of any of the states, including Akwa Ibom State. So what the state government can do is to do its best despite these difficulties. And these are some of the challenges that foreign investors would point to in determining where they want to put their money. Because everybody would actually like to put their money where they will make the most returns in the shortest possible time. So there has been some challenges at the level of the country. The current administration of the federal government is doing its best. There's some headlines 2 days ago where the president was quoted to have said that we've actually turned the bend. We are hopeful that we'll begin to see the positive effects of some of these decisions so that we can boost the economy, we can spring up the economy, and so we can have more people who are interested in investing at Akwa Ibom State actually come here to invest. We'll do the best we can as a subnational, as a federating unit of this country, to create a conducive environment for people to live, to work, to invest, to do business here, to play, to actually even come to take residence here. We're doing the very best we can, providing of infrastructure, ensuring that there's security, providing adequate manpower, providing adequate resources also, and making the place livable and workable. But factors that are external to the control of the state, we hope that those who also have got a responsibility of ensuring that this country actually moves better in an economic direction that will be favorable to all of us, will do the best they can, so that together we can see how we can explore the very rich endowments of this God-given country, Nigeria.
Francis.
Let's come down to yesterday's event, the book title, and it came to pass. Literally just sitting down, listening to the goodwill messages, the comment coming from politicians. I think it had a way of resetting my mind for 2027, and I almost ended. I woke up this morning and I started out thinking it's 2027.
No, he wants to run.
But
He wants to run.
To where?
For an office.
or on federal constituency. Not federal constituency. But seriously,
House of Assembly then.
you're putting me on the spot. Mr. Bush has been trying to get me into politics. I don't know. But seriously, it got me thinking about a whole lot of things. How God turned a pastor to a governor. I'd like to get your perspective about the book. What do you think is going to be the reception of Akwa Ibomites? I've read a few reviews that people have written about the book, and having lived in a kid myself and understudied the person of Umono before becoming governor, I mean, his story through his business, travels, and all of that, I have an understanding of what I might be looking forward to. But I feel like this is one book that should be projected to not just Akwa Ibomites, but people all over the world. But I'd just like to get your perspective. How do you feel that we have a book in his first 1 year in office talking about his personality and what he brings to the table as a person?
The story of his life is a story that any author would give an arm and a leg to write about, so far. And of course, Anita Sen, multiple award-winning journalist, storyteller, village boy, as he loves to call himself. You would expect, if you know him and the kind of thing that he does, that he would do justice to that book. Because His Excellency the Governor's life is an inspiration to a number of people. He speaks about it, so there are elements of it that are very well known. There are also elements of it that you only find out if you read the book. And then, of course, like you said, you've listened to reviews, you've read reviews about the book, so you know what to expect. You even have some proximity to some of his story by where you reside, going by what he just said now. But I'm very sure that it is a book that definitely will be received well beyond the shores of Akwa Ibom, beyond the shores of Nigeria. Because it's a story that a good number of people can relate to. It's a story that I'm sure will serve as a motivation for very many people. Today is Children's Day, and His Excellency the Governor is, I think, he's very, he loves children, and he doesn't hide that fact. In fact,
it's a grandfather.
Yes, I know.
All grandfathers are like that.
Oh, okay.
There is more. Because when grandfathers become governors, they don't show some of those things. But Pastor Moino is showing
more governor than grandfather.
Absolutely.
Something like that. Okay, so
look at him there.
Yes.
Always with children.
Always with children. There are people who sometimes you think they deliberately bring children to where he's going to be because they know he will stop by and all of that. Now, he likes to say that it is the grace of God that has brought him this far. Because if you look at the trajectory of his life, no one would have predicted that this is where he was going to be at this point in his life. And that is an excellent inspirational story to a number of people.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that it will help a number of children also begin to see that sometimes the circumstances, I saw a quote somewhere, and it said, do not let your background put your back to the ground. That the circumstances of your birth, the circumstances of your existence as you're growing up may not necessarily define your future, especially if you are willing to work hard enough to see how you could change it. And all of that. I believe the best way to predict the future is to create it. And I believe that this book came to pass. It's a collector's item. It's a book that a number of people would love to read and get inspiration from. it's more about his person. It's also more about also the travels that he went through, 49 court cases, and all of the opposition and all of the things that actually, every single thing that, including at the point where he himself even almost lost hope in himself until his predecessor and his political father, as he loves to call him, Governor David Manuel, as then was, urged him to soldier on. And we can now see that as a book, and a very appropriately named book, and it came to pass. We can now see that it came to pass just like it was said it was going to be. So I think it's a great book, and I'm very sure that when you read it, you will agree with me that it's a great book.
Fantastic. Okay, so it's just gone past top of the hour in Uyo. No, I don't like that part. In Ibiako, Uran local government area of Akwa Ibom State, and it's Rise and Shine, and the Arise Master is in the studios. The Arise Agenda Seller is in Alive Studios. We're just discussing any moment now. Terry and Prince can allow phone calls to start coming in, and we take those calls as they come in, just discussing this governor in the eyes of the critical public 1 year on. Mr. Raphael Edem Kersen is still our studio guest, and we're just discussing, especially something that has to do with his directorate, that of brand management and marketing for the Akwa Ibom State government. I'll just break away, ask you 2 questions, and Francis will take over from me, and we'll continue like that as the calls keep coming in. And by the way, we hope we can also move around the world, take some correspondences from Lagos, from the UK, and at least from the United States. Let's hope that we're able to do that. Especially today, we're discussing children. We're also discussing brand management and marketing of Akwa Ibom State government, and the chief man is here. So, number one, why are you so brilliant, Mr. Raphael Edem Kersen? Where does even this brilliance come? Where does it come from? Is it from people? Is it from your work?
I was born in Oran, so.
No, is it from school? And if from school, at what point of your school? Not certainly not primary school. Is it from secondary school? Where does this brilliance come? Because and it's not a question to patronize you, of course. You know, it's a question. The effortlessness, the breeziness, the idea that you just sit there. And that is for somebody who is in government, who's doing the kind of work, that is the thing you should do. That is how you should be. But where does all of this come from? My question number one.
I thought you were going to ask 2, so I'll choose which one. I'll choose which one I'll answer.
I'm smarter than that.
I thank you for the compliments, first off. And I'm just a normal young person, you know.
Young, you call yourself young. You have how many children now? Young people don't have the number of children you have.
You know how old the youth leader was.
Even of your political party.
I didn't say political party.
Yes.
You know, and I've lived there. I had the privilege of, you know, watching people, learning from people, learning from my environment, learning from my surroundings, and I'm still learning.
Can I just pause you? I hear you have your first caller. Many thanks for joining us. Your name, where you calling from?
I think we've missed the call.
Okay.
Okay, so I had a chemistry teacher in secondary school, Mr. A.O. Ibecheni, who used to tell us that the largest room in the world... Ibecheni.
Not from Akwa Ibom?
No. He's not from Akwa Ibom. Yeah, but he taught chemistry at Federal Government College, where I attended.
Oh.
And he used to tell us that the largest room in the world is room for improvement. You know, so we just keep trying to see how we could, you know, improve on ourselves every single day. And we learn from people, you know, learn from people like you, learn from the environment, learn from practical every single person.
Which schools? Do you go to?
Okay.
Especially college.
That's very American.
No. Secondary school. That's what I mean. America, that would mean university.
Federal Government College, like I say.
Oh.
Yes, the Federal Government College, and like I say, you know, we try as much as possible to see how we can learn from our environment, learn from everyone.
You learn also on the job.
Yes, of course, on the job also, including people who, you know, my father was a teacher.
Oh.
Yes, my father.
Even mommy?
Yes, my mother also retired as a head teacher. My father was a headmaster, retired as headmaster of the primary school in West Street in 1988.
Whoa.
In fact, he was the head teacher of St. Andrew's Aslam School in Donobo, and also the one in Okonokom.
Whoa.
I was born around that period. Yes.
Whoa,
Yes, I was
that's in my village.
Yes, I know.
Whoa, no doubt. Okay, so I understand why I'm so fond of you. I get it.
I know that.
I'm told there's another caller.
Yes.
Many thanks for joining us. You know where you're calling from. Is it children calling us today? And playing and toying with the system.
So, like I said, he. The very first time I heard, my father said that he doesn't believe that there is anybody, that the concept of illiteracy is absolute. That there has to be something that someone knows, no matter who that person is. You know, you may think someone didn't go to school.
Good morning.
Sorry, we have to pause you. Yes. Good morning. Many thanks for joining us. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Patrick Asukwa. I'm calling from Oyo here.
All right, go ahead, Patrick.
Frederick.
Yeah, I want to know what of the issue, what was the Akwa State government doing about the Ibakabit support? Because that we are no more hearing anything about Ibakabit support.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes. I think I will just answer that as briefly as the information that is at my disposal. The first thing you should know is that the process of port development goes beyond the capacity of an individual state per se. And then quite a lot of progress has been made over the years. His Excellency the Governor has spoken about it. The other day he actually appealed publicly to the President of the Senate, His Excellency Senator Pastor Fabio, to see how we could get the federal government to work with the states to ensure that that project, the much desired project, is actualized. So I am very sure that there is quite effort that is being made in that direction. I know that people think that work, when they actually see brick and mortar, they start building, that's when they believe that work is going, work has started. But I also happen to know that there's usually a lot of background work to these things, especially those ones that go beyond the purview of a single state government. Like I said, even the Lekki Deep Sea Port, there are legal issues, there are a number of other issues that go beyond a single state as a federating unit. So I know that there's some work in that direction. His Excellency, I know, is very keen on that. It's something he has spoken about. And I know that we're hopeful that we're going to get the desired support and collaboration from all of the parties that's involved to ensure that this comes to light of day.
Yes, ma. Many thanks for joining us. Yeah, hello. Welcome to the program. You know where you're calling from.
My name is William. I'm calling from Inclusivity.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, please, good morning, sir. There's a road left by
Can you please step away from your TV set and then, or turn down the volume so that we can get to hear you?
Please, there's a road left behind by Inclusivity. That road that leads to Western.
What is happening with the road?
Why? Like the road has not been constructed. Yes, as we started to construct the road, they left it behind, and it's just like that.
Okay, what's her name? Did she tell us her name?
She mentioned it enough.
What's her name?
What's her name? Okay, so it's good.
I'll answer.
He knows why. She knows why she's making the call. She, in exam to an exam man. I guess that's the point.
I know the road she's referring to.
Yes, you should.
It's actually in my village.
Can you imagine?
And
That's why she's calling you.
That's why she's calling.
Yeah.
But there's work that is going on. That road has a main alignment, and that road has a spur. There's quite some work that has been done on the main alignment. The side drains have been done, and the earthwork has been done. As a matter of fact, a large portion of it has stone base done on it. But as we speak, the contractor is working on the other side, the spur. So maybe she's talking about where she usually passes. She may not know
that work is still
going on the other side of the spur. But then, of course, the current weather condition, I'm sure, is affecting the pace of that work. But it's an ongoing project. It was awarded by His Excellency Governor Dumi Manuel, the former administration, at the twilight of his administration. and then it was continued by His Excellency Pastor Omoino. So it's an ongoing road project.
Okay.
Yes, it's not abandoned.
Let's go to Lagos. Lagos, where a man, Dan Chris Ebie, joins us live. Dan Chris Ebie, of course, is of Nollywood and is a great lover of Akwa Ibom. Today we're discussing Governor Moino's 12 months in the eyes of the critical public. You are in Nollywood. You are also, somebody who likes to analyze situations and events. In terms of Nollywood, in terms of the creatives, in terms of that kind of entertainment sector, how much will you score this governor 12 months on?
Morning.
Amen.
It's always a pleasure to be part of this program, and I also acknowledge that morning to you. This question. Well, Nollywood, the current government, I say there's some traction.
Okay, Dan Chris, sorry we can barely hear you. Could you please disconnect and then join us back? Maybe the network is interfering somewhere. So end this session and then try to reconnect to the link.
Let's just move on. He will take care of that.
Yeah.
Come back to the live studio. So, okay, so my second question quickly would then be about how you do your work. I'm in the Directorate of Brand Management. In the department, okay. In the Department of Brand Management and Marketing. How do you do your work? How do you connect? Just give the viewer a sense of how you operate.
Okay, like I said, we do not operate alone. We're not an island. We're part of a government structure. So of course, as a department in the office of the governor, we are given directives on what to do. So there's myself, there's a few other members of staff who work there. And then, of course, wherever it is necessary and very frequently, we interface also with other agencies of government. And our job basically is to ensure that we all work together towards achieving the same goal. And what is this goal? The goal of promoting their rights agenda, promoting, of course, the activities in their rights agenda, getting people to see the need to build their Akwa Ibom brand, and also getting people to see how we can positively promote what's good and great about Akwa Ibom State. So, yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell, as it is what we do there. It's a department in the office of the governor, just like there's several other departments. And then, of course, we make our contributions whenever we get an opportunity. So, working, of course, with all the arms of government and agencies.
Hello?
Of government.
Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. I'm calling from Eke.
What's your name?
My name is Samuel.
Your name is what?
Samuel Batu.
All right, go ahead, Samuel.
Fine. My problem and my question is, why have they had to commission Ibono Road when it's not completed and people are dying there every day?
Has the road been inaugurated?
I do not have that information, so I cannot speak to that.
Okay.
I cannot speak to that.
That's probably something.
I'm not aware of really
Yes.
commissioner of any.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, but
right.
you carry that information back and try and find out.
No,
Yes,
as
sure.
much as possible. Yes.
Yes, Francis.
All right, so we talked about the Ibom Deep Seaport, and that is the biggest, I would say, the biggest project that Akwa Ibomites are aspiring for right now, because of the economic importance and what it means for not just Akwa Ibom but also for Nigeria, especially when we look at the fact that we had kickstarted preparations before the Lekki seaport issue came on board, and then of course concerns rose. Yesterday, I listened to Obaran Peribeko, the Minister for Petroleum Resources, Gas, and if I attempt to quote him, before he came to the event, he had sessions with the Senate President, and of course, there was a promise that the federal government is going to partner with Akwa Ibom State government, and of course, it's going to be a reality. I like to ask, is there a time frame? Because when Akwa Ibomites listen to things, I remember just going back from work yesterday, and the minibus I entered, the conversation tilted around, yes, there's a commitment. How soon can we see this commitment manifest in Akwa Ibom State?
Okay, thank you very much. The Honourable Minister of State Gas spoke about the foundation laying, flag off, for the Ibom Solution Hub. And this is something that has been on since the last administration of His Excellency Mr. Udomi Mano. It's actually something that has quite a lot to do with the NNPC, which is why he also referenced the NNPC, says he's speaking with the NNPC. And he said that in July, sometime in July, I think first week, he said that there's going to be a flag off. I'm very sure that the minister is the gentleman who has the authority, who has the information to make that particular commitment. And I'm not sure he would come out and make that commitment publicly if he wasn't absolutely sure. So it is good news. It's one of the best news about what happened yesterday. And we're looking forward to that particular event. Because like I said, Ibom Solutions Hub has been in the pipeline for quite a while. So eventually now, it is now going to be out of the pipeline. And we're hopeful that after the flag off, there's going to be quite a lot of work in that direction. The issue now is, what is Ibom Solutions Hub? What is going to be going on there? How are people going to benefit from there? You know, there's quite a lot that we still need to do to build capacity for the things that we're expecting. You know, talking about the Ibom Deep Sea Port, a few years ago, there was a gentleman from the States, a retired Rear Admiral, who was having a private conversation with me, and he said, if the deep sea port were to open today, how many people in Akwa Ibom have the requisite skill to actually get employed there? How many people know what happens to the deep sea port? How many people know what can be done there? How many people know what they can do to prepare to benefit from that? Else, we're just going to sit back and we find people troop into the state and get the jobs, and we'll sit back and whine and talk and all of that. There is a Ministry of Labor and Manpower Planning. I'm sure they do quite some work in that direction. But beyond that, I think there's also a need for some of our people to independently make their own inquiries and see how they can fit into this. Information is very important. And you know that thing where they talk about opportunity meeting preparation. There's an opportunity coming. How much preparation are we making? So hopefully we'll be able to balance this out so that these opportunities that come will definitely be to the benefit of the people of Akwa Ibom State. I'm looking forward to that day, and I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Fantastic. Ime will be taking us to Lagos because it looks like Dan Chris Ebie is on the line. Is he there?
It's fine.
We're going the runway. We're in the run. Dan Chris Ebie is there now. Ime?
All right. Good morning, Dan Chris. Can you hear me clearly now?
Oh, good morning. Good morning, studio. Good morning, Akwa Ibom.
From the studio.
Both at home and in diaspora.
All right.
It's always a pleasure to be live with you in the studio, bringing Lagos to the doorstep of Akwa Ibom. It's a very beautiful morning here in Lagos, and I'm sure it's also a beautiful day in Akwa Ibom. And I also say good morning to our special guest in the house today. Good to have you as a brand ambassador for Akwa Ibom. Same thing we do in Nollywood is what you do. So I'm sure that I should be connecting with you very soon so that we can both together work to make Akwa Ibom the hub where other people from across the room could see as a destination, because there's a lot in Akwa Ibom that we need to brand. Fortunately, during former governor Akpabio, we enjoyed a lot of publicity. A lot of people got to know about Akwa Ibom was a destination. After some time, we have lost that trend, and we are hoping that with this new government of our Pastor Moino, who is himself I would call it an hospitality. We came from the hospitality business, tourism, and of course entertainment. We are hoping that Akwa Ibom would, get back, to that, I wouldn't call it lost glory, but we just sat back a bit, so that we can properly brand Akwa Ibom and make Akwa Ibom, especially now that we are looking at having the deep sea port. The airport is functioning now, one of the best airports, in Nigeria, if not Africa, with a lot of work that I think governor has done in the last 1 year. We need to articulate them. And my question, let me just go through this question at you. How well, I know that yesterday the book was launched about our dear governor. I'm always very particular that when we play politics or when we are doing things back at home, it shouldn't be localized. It should be made national. That is how where our dear Senate president now, I dare say, has been able to be given that opportunity to lead the country because while he was in office as the governor of Akwa Ibom, he was very vocal. Everybody in Nigeria and beyond knew God's will and it worked for him when he became, for him to become our current Senate president. So, what are you doing in this regards to put more in the public space? Because brand management is very critical to the business of Akwa, or else it will be like winking in the dark. Nobody sees what you're doing. So, what are you doing for that? You need to put what Boyle is doing. And I've seen a situation on our Rise TV, kudos to you. But I think we should go beyond that, social media presence, strong social media presence, and the rest of them. I didn't listen to the conversation from the beginning, but what are you doing to, make Boyle a brand that the world was, Akwa Ibom as a brand that the world was come to see?
Directly, there's quite a lot that is being done to promote this administration, even outside the state. But then the point is, I'm not too sure that the first thing we should have been doing within 1 year of an administration is putting up maybe advert material all across the length and breadth of the country. There are people who will still ask, is this what you came to do? You haven't even started, and all of that. However, the Rise agenda and their activities were taking advantage of the different aspects of the media to see how we can spread the news of the Rise agenda. The gentleman who lives in Lagos, anybody who flies through MM2, the largest electronic billboard there, has quite a lot about what happens in Akwa Ibom State, running at every 3 minutes across the number of pictures, a number of videos, and we're also working across different print and electronic media. The government does a good job of ensuring that on the major electronic media in this country, Akwa Ibom is not one of the places where you have to look for what they're doing. There's a lot that is going on also. Productions from the Ministry of Information, from the Office of the Chief Press Secretary, from our own office, and a number of other places there. We're doing the best we can to push the narrative. But of course, you would understand that we're also competing with all kinds of other organizations, and there's news everywhere. And we're also competing with what's happening on Instablog and what is breaking and what is that. However, we're doing the best we can, and we're hoping that we're getting feedback, and we're doing an assessment of how well we're doing there. And then we're also seeing areas where we can also improve on the things that we do. So yes, there's quite a lot that's going on in that direction. But the major thing is that government wants to work for the Akwa Ibom people first. That's major. Government wants to be able to deliver dividends of democracy to the people of Akwa Ibom State, who are the primary stakeholders in this whole particular business. And then as much as possible, we can now tell our story to the rest of the world, and we can now get people to come and see what is happening in Akwa Ibom State. So it's we're working in both directions. But like I said, the primary concentration is working for the people who live, work, and call Akwa Ibom home.
Amen.
Okay, I would like to come in. I want to follow I want to follow Dan Chris. Let's talk about entertainment. I know that already the governor has inaugurated the skills acquisition, the skills acquisition for youth. Now we have a lot of creatives in Akwa Ibom. We have a lot of talented creatives in the music and also in the movie industry. What is this administration? I know it's 1 year already. What is it doing to bring the light to bring in the creatives to the forefront, to the national level? We have a lot of, at least while I was in Cross River, I've met with a lot of artists outside. from Akwa Ibom, and it looks like the government does not have that that support. What are they doing?
Well, okay, I will give a personal opinion as somebody who has worked in the creative space myself for a number of years. The first thing I need to say is that previous administrations, including this one, has been giving a lot of support to the creative industry. However, I will add, and this is my personal opinion as Raphael Adam,
Okay.
that it is not the sole business of government to promote the creative industry. There are a number of other stakeholders that are involved. Government can only support, and this administration is ready to, willing to, and able to provide an enabling environment, an opportunity. The last carols, His Excellency the Governor insisted it should be completely local. So on that global stage, we're promoting and showcasing the best of Akwa Ibom talent in the gospel music industry. If you come for any state major events, the bulk of what is put out there is local. However, like I said, government support is not the only thing that makes the entertainment industry blow, if I were to use street lingo. There are a number of other factors that are involved. I will also want to look at something. What are the things that run this entertainment industry, especially here in Africa? There has to be quite a lot of corporate support also. Because I give you an example. Let us assume that you are a musician based in Akwa Ibom State, and you do live events and live shows, and then you get patronage. If your only patron is government and government agencies, how often does government do events where they would require your services? But imagine that we had 20, 30, 40 corporate organizations in Akwa Ibom who have activities one way or the other. You'll be very much more in demand. So government would create an enabling environment that will bring this private sector corporate players who will now work to ensure that they also promote the entertainment industry. Because government's impact on this can only be limited to one say, okay, there are people who say sometimes government should provide subventions. Yes. Sometimes government should also do this. Yes. But the truth is that it goes beyond only government. So to answer your question directly, His Excellency the Governor is a tourism, is a hospitality, is an entertainment-friendly person. And then, of course, there's quite a whole lot that is being done in that direction. The Ministry of Culture and Tourism is headed by an artist, a gentleman who understands what to do and is actually working to interpret the governor's vision. There's a senior special assistant and a number of entertainment practitioners who are in the entertainment sector who have been given appointments to see how they can drive what goes on in that sector. So that is all government will do. That's all government can do. And then, of course, support when there is a need, when there is a demand, when there is a desire, when the resources are also there, when there's also the aptitude. But beyond that also, it's like sports also. There are people who say that government should not even have any business in sports. But in Nigeria, once you pull government out of sports, the whole thing collapses. Because the truth is, if you look at all of the specials we used to have in this country, we used to have basketball clinics, we used to have football academies, we used to have tennis clinics, we used to have badminton tournaments. Most, if not all of them, were sponsored by different corporate organizations. Some of those corporate organizations have withdrawn the sponsorship because they complain of an unfavorable business environment. Because for you to be able to sponsor a Scrabble tournament in your village, you ought to have made profit in your business over the year. And from that profit, you cannot do it as part of corporate social responsibility. Not when you are struggling to buy diesel and then somebody says you should come and sponsor, So it's these things, these factors are related one way or the other. So is government ready and willing? Yes. Is government giving support? Yes. But like I said, when government does what it needs to do, and then we also have other private sector players. We also have even the creatives themselves dispose themselves and do the things they need to do for them to use that creative term again, blow. Because there's a lot that can be invested in you. There are a good number of these creatives that if somebody were to tell you, and this is not a particular type, but if somebody were to tell you how much of government support has gone through them over the years, it will be completely shocked. It's like even those who are in the entrepreneurship business. The entrepreneurs who have benefited from government grants from organizations and agencies, sometimes they don't even let people know. But for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, the business has not gone beyond a certain level. But you could find out that that gentleman or that lady or that business has benefited from support from government and other people, empowerment schemes and all kinds of things to the tune of millions of naira over the past 5 years. So it's two-way traffic.
Yeah.
Is government willing? Yes. Is government ready? Yes. Is government doing it? Yes. But then the players themselves also need to see how can we structure this our industry so that we can make the best out of this. So
Fantastic.
a very simple example to ask is this, and I've had to ask this question before at an entertainment roundtable. All of the big names that we need in entertainment globally, which of them was 100% made by government?
Okay. It's 1/2 past the hour in Ibiakuran in Uban local government area of Akwa Ibom State, and in another 25 minutes we should be saying a bye-byes. But for this leg of the program, another 5 minutes will be done. The closing comments, the closing questions will start now from me. By the way, Mr. Raphael Edem is still our studio guest. Mr. Raphael Edem, KSM. He represents Governor Umoino as his senior special assistant on brand management and marketing, and he just came this morning to add some perspectives here and there, and what a fantastic job he has done. Many thanks for staying with us. Okay, so now let's round off. It's Children's Day today.
Yes,
the 27th of May 2024. What is your department doing anything?
No, well, not as a department, but of course, government. We are part of the government, and the Children's Day celebration is at 11 a.m. this morning at the Uyo Township Stadium. And but beyond that, of course, there's quite some material that is already out celebrating children. This one is relatively easy. Like I said, the governor absolutely loves children. So they're very close to him. They're very close to his heart. And then, of course, you would know that it's a day that he'll be happy to all of us joining him to see how we can celebrate our children. All of the things that we're doing. A good number of the things that are being done are not necessarily for our generation. The other day,
is this material from you?
Oh yes.
Yeah, because this looks like you. It looks like your work.
From my office, yes. From my office, yes. The
so
other
this is about what? This is
okay. This is just a short video celebrating the Children's Day. There's a soundbite there about the governor talking about.
How long is that?
It's about a minute.
Okay, can we just allow that video on air?
Our children must be well groomed because they are the future.
We've all got rights. We've all got rights. Gotta have a home. Gotta be well fed. Have a place to learn and rest your head. We've all got rights. We've all got rights. Gotta have a say. Gotta raise a view. Have a place to play, express a view. We've all got rights. We've all got rights.
Exactly. It's because of the footage that I asked that question, because the moment I saw that footage earlier, I just knew it must come from you. Yes, Francis, we gotta go.
Well, just before we let you go, your father, and what is your wish for children?
That they live in a much better Nigeria than the one we currently live in. And it is the one thing where we owe them without negotiation. We sit back and we say, we hear our parents talk about the good old days, and we wonder if we ever even saw them. But we owe the next generation a much better country than the one that we currently live in. We owe them a national pride which will have to be organic and not forced. We owe them the desire for them to want to stay in their country and rather live here standing rather than go live somewhere else on their knees. We owe them that desire, that pride, that self-worth, that satisfaction of living in Akwa Ibom, of living in Nigeria, being proud of their country, of living in a place where they still have got hope in the future. Because the truth is, a good number of people who want to get out of these countries because they do not see any. A comedian said the other day, "How come somebody had to take light to the end of the tunnel? Why didn't they put it at the beginning? Why didn't they just put it at the beginning? Who took the light to the end of the tunnel?" So we owe them, without question, a society better than the one that we currently.
Fantastic. That's a great question by Francis, who, by the way, asked another question. But I'm just wondering that answer. Beautiful answer you gave to Francis. Was there a little drop of politics in there? Because, or because we're journalists, did you Afghanistanize? There's something they call Afghanistanism or something. Afghanistanism in journalism. Because you said, our children, we owe them a better Nigeria. Do we owe them a better Akwa Ibom?
Yeah, we do, of course. Nigeria, Akwa Ibom is a component. It's a component of. It starts from here.
Okay.
But I had to use Nigeria because, like I said earlier, a good number of the challenges we have. We don't have time, and maybe this is outside the purview of this conversation.
Please go ahead.
In this country,
we have all the time.
We build alliances, we build movements, we build a whole lot of structures around issues that divide us. We do not build such solidarity, we do not build such consensus around issues that unite us. And what are the things that divide us? Religion.
Politics.
Politics. We are very aggressive. We're very happy to, hold our ground. We want to fight anyone. But these are things that divide us. But what are the things that unite us in Nigeria? A bad educational system is uniform to the entire country.
Absolutely.
Have we been able to build a movement and a consensus around it? The economy, the bad roads, not very good healthcare. These are the things that are common to every part of Nigeria. It doesn't respect your creed, doesn't respect your religion, doesn't respect your language. So why don't we, build alliances around these issues that really do unite us? Because we cannot run away from the fact that what happens in Nigeria affects the rest of us, especially considering the kind of federal structure, well, loosely, I should say, that we run, where Abuja sneezes and the whole country catches cold. If we're able to run a place where the states can independently grow at their own pace, then we'll be able to localize some of these issues. But like I said earlier, no matter how well-intentioned you are as a state government, there are certain things you cannot do without the federal government.
Absolutely.
Because they're completely outside your country. So if we get it right at there, fish rots from the head, like they say. If we get it right there, it will trickle down here.
Okay, Ime.
All right. My last question is going to be: you've worked with Governor Odom.
Yes, sure.
You've worked with Governor Odom.
In the Old Testament.
And now you're working with Governor Omoino.
Yes.
Now, this is first year.
Yes.
Do you think you'll be able to sustain these things he's doing come 2027, the next? I mean, if he's voted in for second term, do you think you'll be able to sustain it? Because we've seen governors and politicians use their first year just to, buy the heart of, the citizens. And the second term, when voted into office again, they just go into doing political. Do you think you'll be able to sustain what he has started this first term?
I like that question. And I'll answer it from the point of view of those who have known His Excellency Governor Moina. Those who have known him longer than us say this is how he has always been. And I think he's too old for him to change. I think he's too steeped in his ways. I think the things he's doing are the him.
Okay.
He's doing things that he wants to do. He's doing things that he's convinced. He just turned 60. I'm not sure it's the best time for someone to learn to be left-handed. So I do not see him as doing things for political mileage. So I do not see any reason why he would want to change for the worse. To gain what? To whose benefit? To what benefit? So I expect that all things being equal, and factors outside his control favoring him, and resources also being available, and the people that he needs to be able to interpret his vision agreeing to work towards that vision, that it is definitely going to be better. So I'm not even looking at sustaining the tempo, I'm looking at upping the tempo, taking these other factors into consideration.
Right.
Okay, so Dan Chris from Lagos just had one last question for you. Dan Chris to ask that question before we let you go. Dan Chris, over to you.
Thank you so very much. It will be a total disservice to acquire people if I don't say what I have to say now, which has to do with the entertainment industry and Nollywood to be precise. Nollywood, of course, covers music, film, theater, and the rest of them. Look, as it is in Akwa Ibom right now, the person that can sell fast and sell Akwa Ibom faster is tourism and entertainment. First, it gives an opportunity for youth to be employed massively. Now, if you look at during the Jonathan era, President Jonathan, Nigeria was on the map of when we talk of global entertainment business because President Jonathan supported the creative industry with over $30 billion, right? And a lot of people had grants from production to training. Nigeria became a destination of all eyes globally. Akwa Ibom needs this. You talked about government not being able to do so much. Government needs to be assertive on things that has to do with entertainment if we really need to get the mileage. We need a film village, right? And I think there's one that was started during the past administration that has been abandoned. I think that should be revived as immediately. We need government to be concerned by legislative support for the creative industry because it's going to help to boost whatever our governor is doing I must be sincere with you. First, entertainment is right now the brand ambassador for Nigeria. It can also be the brand ambassador for Akwa Ibom. Of course, a lot of things when it has to be entertained, you draw people. It is easy for people to be, to pay attention. So, and we have in Akwa Ibom one of the creative, or in terms of filmmaking, if you talk of after Lagos, after Asaba, Akwa Ibom is the next. I keep saying it wherever I go to, the next place where movie is being made. In Etina, in Ikonepene, in Uyu, in Neket, movies are being shot on daily basis. But look, we're not seeing the traction because we don't have the kind of support that we need to put some of these productions on African Magic. I've advocated for us to be given a channel, but they keep saying, what are we doing? Now, we are doing so much, but we don't have the necessary support and the base to be able to project this to the world. Our music is so rich. We have our film, we have our Oladides, we have our Davidos in Akwa Ibom, begging for opportunity. If you create a studio, have a film village where a studio is set up for these artists to be able to go produce their song and then help for it to be exported. This is money coming to Akwa Ibom. It will add to the IGI of Akwa Ibom. And in the same way, the tourism business has to pick up. Nigeria Akwa Ibom has one of the best beaches. We're not promoting it enough. Please, I think if you take this home, that we should, as a matter of urgency, in fact, as a state of emergency be declared for the entertainment industry.
Thank you, Dan Chris. Thank you.
That's where his passion is. Thank you so much.
I'm passionate about this. Dan Chris, we're waiting for you. Your flight into you is later this day. We're looking forward to seeing you.
I must say this, and thank you very much for your thoughts. I started answering the question by saying that I am somebody who has played in that space. I agree with everything he has said. So maybe he misunderstood me.
Absolutely.
I am not in any way saying that should not be done. I only say that the players themselves should also do their own part.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was my point.
Which is critical.
That was my point. Yeah, because assuming you provide all of that and they're not ready. So I was advocating for both parties.
Absolutely.
I said government is willing, ready to support, and is still supporting. I talked about the fact that about 4 people have been appointed, and they've been, there's an entertainment sector under the governor's office. All of these are pointers to the fact that government is willing to and able to and ready to. My point was therefore that other factors should also be taken into consideration. So I agree with you 100%, and in all honesty, we'll be happy to, maybe go somewhere on a cruise in Havana, and then we're listening to hip-hop music over the speakers.
So Dan Chris is in Uyo in the next, I think, 2-3 hours, and we look forward to having him. Okay, so that's the size of this one. Thank you for coming. It was very nice. Francis and Ime both joined me to thank you, Mr. Raphael Edem KSM, Senior Special Assistant to Governor Umoino on brand management and marketing. It was very nice to talk with you. Happy Children's Day to your children.
Thank you very much.
And say well to them.
Thank you very much.
That's that one. We take a short breather. We're back in no time. The program continues. Please stay tuned.